Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Entrepreneurship is a Marathon. Tonight is how you can use your voice to grow any business. We have a special guest here with us tonight, Stephanie Wall. As a speaker, coach, and author, Stephanie empowers and inspires women to free themselves from the guilt of being a victim. She has helped countless people through her coaching and her books, such as Her Story, Our Story, Different Faces, Same Trauma, and her other book, How My Part-Time Job Saved My Life, and many more. Stephanie is passionate about coming alongside her clients to empower them to do something significant. And tonight, Stephanie joins us to talk about the power of your voice and how you can use that, right? To empower you to use that to grow your business. And we're going to get right into it, honestly, right? Get right into it. So, Stephanie, we had a whole conversation before we got live here, which is why we are here on the show together, because we're like friends. Yeah. Okay, so Stephanie, I want to ask you a question. How can people not be fake, right? Like, a big concern that people have is, people probably watching this, they're like, oh my God, Vanessa's so energetic. Like, do I have to have that voice? Like, what is that voice? And, and people may not even think my energy is real. And it's like, no, what you see is what you get, right? Unless I will say, if it's after 1 p.m. and I have not taken my nap for the day, you will see me not functioning properly to this level, because I do have to reset and recharge, and I work off of water and sleep. But otherwise, this is what you get, right? But not everyone is energetic or loud or out there, right? And so should they pretend to be? Is that the idea? Is that how they, build their voice?
No.
What say you?
So you know what, Vanessa, and I love your energy, and they're probably gonna be like, OMG. So if you are not somebody that can follow people when they have a lot of energy, you might say, dear God, I'm exhausted by the time I get off this show watching me and Vanessa, because there's a lot going on here. But I will tell you that the best way to not be fake is to be who you are. Like, don't try to be somebody else. I just gave the example earlier today. I was telling them when I first began my speaker's journey, when I went out there, started presenting and being in front of people, I made the mistake. My name is Stephanie, and I thought I needed to be like other people. I thought that I talked too fast. My voice was too heavy, that I needed to make sure I enunciated, didn't use any slang, I'm animated. You see, I like to use my hands. Don't use your hand. I thought I need to sit here and just be quiet and just, right? And that was so not who I was. I wasn't comfortable doing it, and other people were not comfortable watching me do it, and it didn't come off as authentic. So one, if you high energy, be high energy. Be who you are. If you're somebody that's kind of like, I'm very analytical, but I just speak low. But be who you are. Here's the deal. All folks want to know is, what's the meat and potatoes? Give them the juice. If what you are giving them is of value, it doesn't matter how you give it to them. Now, as the speaker, me got to come back and tell you that there is some peaks and valleys, and there is some things, there's some strategy to being a speaker. So to not be fake, be who you are. Don't pretend to be nobody else. Just bring value to the table.
Indeed. Love it, love it, love it. Folks, we got more in store for you from Stephanie Wall. First, I want to say, for those who are new to the crew here, Entrepreneurship is a Marathon, happens every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, with yours truly, Vanessa Zammy. Did that rhyme? I don't know if that rhymed. Probably didn't, but that's okay. So maybe someone shared this with you. Maybe you're here because to support Stephanie. Maybe you're coming across this on my YouTube channel. If you haven't yet, subscribe below. Bam, right now. I'm giving you a quick second. Okay, cool. But either way, maybe you're thinking about, what is this show about? So we're going to go into a quick little summary trailer thing while you get your notes out, because you already know you need it if you haven't already have it. My name is Vanessa Zammy, the best-selling author of Finish, the Solopreneur's Guide to Getting Stuff Done. I'm the creator of the Hustle and Breathe Business Accelerator, through which I consult ambitious 9-to-5ers like you on how to grow their profit-producing, purpose-driven business without the overwhelm. Your efficiency, your productivity, and profitability, so that you can reduce the overwhelm and confusion in your life. You can enjoy your life. Entrepreneurship is a marathon. And if you've chosen to step into that marathon, I mean, update that video at some point in time. But either way, let's go. So what has been your win of the week? As I ask every week, type it in the comments, whether you're watching on Facebook or LinkedIn. Actually, even if you're watching on YouTube, put hashtag replay and just say what has been your win of the week. I know a lot of you watch our replay, so hashtag replay. But what has been your win of the week? What are you celebrating? It's very easy to, and as an entrepreneur, you're thinking about your vision, you're thinking about your goals, you're thinking about what isn't or has not yet happened. But let's think about what has happened, right? What, you're reflecting on the year 2021 at the time that we are living this year. What has happened for you, right? Maybe you didn't reach the sale number that you wanted, right? Maybe you did. Maybe you are not in that new house yet that you want, right? Maybe you're close to it though. Maybe you're in the process of contract. But what has happened for you this year for your business? What has happened for you this week, the last couple of days, right? Did a client tell you how amazing you were? But did a customer that you didn't expect, did you get a surprise sale from your website that you didn't even know was going to happen, right? Did you learn a new nugget to help you improve in your business in some sort of way? But what has been your win of the week, right? Type it into the comments. And Stephanie, what has been your win of the week?
My win, Vanessa, was that I have a challenge that I was starting this week. And you ever put something together and you like, oh, I want this, I did that. And I'm thinking, there's Thanksgiving. I'm not gonna lie, I put some stuff down to deal with family, and then something wasn't tweaked and wasn't acting right. And I didn't think it was gonna jump off, it was gonna happen. But it did, and it's kicking. But so my win is the challenge is in full fledged. That was a win. That's a W.
I love it. I love it. Yes. One, let's even commend on just like getting the challenge going, right? Like number one. And then it's actually rocking the game. So that's cool. Number two. There we go. Yes. And so love it. And what's in my win of the week? My win of the week. Oh yes, onboarding a new team member. We'll do that one. Has been my win of the week. For those who have been following me on LinkedIn and Facebook, my other win is starting professor in winter 2022. We're gonna go with onboarding a new team member has been my win of this week. Lots of wins. Gotta love the wins. Even amidst all the things happening in life. And now you're probably like, well, Vanessa, let's get back to Stephanie. Totally understand. Okay, cool.
No, I saw that post that you were starting as the professor, and I was like, she's a woman after my own heart.
Appreciate you. Yes. Sora too, for those who are watching who don't know. Yes. Appreciate you, Sora. Appreciate you. But yes, I'm really excited about that. It's really great. Really amazing. And yes, but not about tonight's not about me. It's about you. Stephanie. How did you find your voice?
Oh my gosh. So like many of you, somebody somewhere told you, you gotta, you could do this. You're a good speaker, or you could be a presenter, or you might be, I don't know, a voiceover person. I found my voice because one, somebody told me, you have a unique voice. First, I just want you all to know that see, unique voice now, hearing when I heard it that way, I received it. Up until becoming an adult and someone told me I had a unique voice, I didn't hear a unique voice. I hear you talk too fast. Your voice is heavy. She's a heavy voice. She's like a man. It was nothing that made me feel like it was unique and wonderful. But now I hear things like unique and sultry. You see the difference? You see the difference in those things? And I received it, Sarah, right? I received it. And because of that, now it also allowed me to be more authentic, to be myself rather. Because when you know and you feel comfortable with how you sound, because now you don't hear yourself sounding like a man, you hear yourself sounding sultry. And so that helped me to find my voice because then I felt more comfortable to speak. And also I learned, as I shared with you guys earlier, to be myself and don't try to be anybody else, be who I am, which then led to me, number one, knowing how to share my story or whatever the topic of the hour is that I'm talking about, and how to best to give that information out to someone, to provide the information to whomever is listening through trial and error and being comfortable with who I am and how I sound, because that was huge for me.
I love that. And it's like you may have heard opposite of things, right? You started out hearing opposite things. You didn't really think that, you had a great voice or a great, like, you were like, maybe not me. And then someone told you something different, right? And but what do you say to those people maybe who haven't heard that, right? Maybe people who haven't heard, like, people are still telling them at the age of 45, perhaps, that, you want to be a speaker. I don't know about that voice though.
Correct. So let me tell you, here's the deal. Now, even though someone told me that at the end of the day, what really was the deal was mindset. It didn't matter. It does matter what other people say, but what mattered the most was what was I saying to myself? Because sometimes some people you may never have heard anybody else tell you there was anything wrong with your voice, but you told you there was something wrong with your voice. So until Stephanie, and you decide that you're gonna move that out of your way, that you're not that none of that matters until you change the way you think about yourself and whatever that is, none of this will matter. So I'm telling you, so I'm going to tell you, there is no such thing as a specific voice. Let me be the one to tell you, there is no specific voice, sound, look, color of the skin, mode, or whatever. There's different speakers, because what is good for me or what is my cup of tea may not be your cup of tea. And that is the same for the person listening and saying, right now, there's somebody watching right now, and they're saying, I love the sound of Vanessa's voice. I can't stand Stephanie's voice. But that has nothing to do with me. That has everything to do with them. That just means that I'm not for them, and vice versa. But the person and the people that are your purpose, or the people you're supposed to touch and feel and serve, those people will be in line, and you'll be just perfect for them, just as you are.
I love that. I love that. And that touches home for me, because I know that some people say I speak too fast, and that's definitely a thing, right? And the fact, I mean, I do speak fast, right? But there are people who don't say that I speak fast. They're like, oh, I didn't notice. Right? And those are, at the end of the day, those are the people I'm speaking to. But for those who do say I speak fast, I'm like, you know what? I got some captions for you, got some subtitles for you. Okay. You can watch the recording and rewind if you would like, right? If you want to, if you want to rewind, by all means, here's a YouTube channel with some videos. Here's a link that you can replay it. Okay. The captions, like, I got that for you. I hear you. And this is how I'm adapting. Okay. Like, that is.
I got this recording that you can slow down if you need to.
Yes. Okay.
Do what you need. I got you. I received that.
Yes. And so, but I love that, right? It's like there's no specific voice or sound that's like more popular than another, right? It's really looking at how can you put that. I think you mentioned this earlier, right? The story behind your voice, right? It's the story behind your voice, about the messaging and what you're saying, right? And so, let's say there's still some people who are like, yeah, but there are all these, like the speaker challenge you're doing, right? Like, there are people saying, yeah, but I never received training on speaking. Right. Correct. So do I have to do that first though? Should I at least do that first? Like, what? Like, yeah.
I'm going to say the first thing we need to do is just decide. I mean, honestly, we decide, what do you want? Do you know that most people are afraid, whatever you're afraid of or you're fearful of? Fear. What do we fear for? Fear is bordered in, not even bordered in, it's just laced in a lack of something. And the lack of something is either a skill, talent, or ability, right? So most people are, they say that the fear of public speaking is actually is above the fear of death. I want to say, I think it was TD Jakes that said that there are people that would rather be in the box at a funeral than to, be in the box than to speak at their own funeral. Right. So I'm going to tell you that if you are somebody that say, but I can't, we all started out at the same place. I promise you, most speakers, not most, all speakers were speaking or doing some type of talking before if ever, they got professional training. So just get started. If that's your gift, if you have a story, and everybody does, but if you feel compelled or you want to share it with someone, or more importantly, in this world, in this COVID world, if you got a job, you got a career, the chances are high that you are using your voice to communicate on this device or in person. And those that can speak up typically go up. We got to use our voice. We cannot showcase who we are without using a form of communication.
Yes. And of course, like, video is very important in this day of marketing, right? As people have said, as people have shared. I mean, now Clubhouse is not video, but it's audio. But video is very important. It's definitely getting high ranking in the algorithm. I don't believe that everyone needs to do video, right? If you are someone who writing is your jam, then you write. If photography is your jam, then you do photography, right? But for most population, video is what you're probably going to be doing in order to help grow your business and get the word out there and really, create the impact and change that you want to make, right? But video equals speaking. And also you run a business. So we're going to go and take a quick little break here. But when we get back, Stephanie will be sharing with us tips that she has for people looking to do business and sell, right? So speaking to sell and mastering that. And we'll be right back in a couple of seconds. So I believe I know some things about you in your current situation. I know that you're frustrated, you're overwhelmed, you're struggling, you're discouraged, right? You dream of becoming a calm and confident full-time entrepreneur with abundant time and financial freedom. Currently, perhaps you're focused on leaving your demanding corporate job and growing your business. Or maybe you're just focused on just growing your business, right? But let me ask you a question. Would you be ecstatic if you could increase your revenue, be more consistent with your marketing and social media, and get more time to work on your business and be more productive? Because if you could do those things, ultimately, that would mean you can make a difference in your community, city, state, country, or world while having more freedom to do what you want when you want, which would be amazing. Unfortunately, I also get the sense that there are some roadblocks for you here as well, including figuring out how to get more exposure and visibility about your business, how to clarify and define your next ultimate direction, how to separate your business and personal life. Sound familiar? Another thing, are you also really frustrated by the fact that there just isn't enough time to do everything that you want to do? You don't know what direction or next steps to take. And Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Clubhouse, just social media in general, right? Just feels like yelling into an abandoned building. Plus, you constantly ask yourself any of these questions. How do I increase my sales next quarter? How do I increase my sales next year? How do I get more of the right clients and customers? How do I use social media to grow an online presence? And maybe perhaps you found yourself recently saying to yourself, as you reflect on this past year of your business, just saying, social media just sucks up time and money and doesn't produce results. Or I don't have enough time. Or do I do everything myself? Ugh. I know. And if you're saying those things, got a lovely special masterclass coming up for you this Saturday, December 11th at 9 a.m. Eastern. Join me for how to grow your purpose-driven business without burnout, without sleep deprivation, and without meditation. Yes. So, because you probably thought we were talking about meditation. It's not what we're going to talk about at all. And we're not going to talk about vision boarding either. So, make sure you tune in and sign up for How to Grow Your Purpose-Driven Business with yours truly, Vanessa Zami. Tickets are $37, which includes a workbook and recording. And that will be Saturday, December 11th at 9 a.m. Eastern. Yes, 6 a.m. Pacific. So, see you in there, and I'm going to put the link in the chat. Back to Stephanie. So, Stephanie, we are here with Stephanie talking about how to use your voice to grow your business. What are tips that you can share with our audience today? You don't need to give it all the meat and details because they probably don't have time to watch the whole video anyways. But that's right. Okay. But what tips do you have for people in terms of the speaking to sell route, right? How do they connect their voice and their business to selling and all that jazz?
Okay, got it. So listen, folks, I promise you, if you're in business, I don't care what business you're in, I want you to think about this. Come with me, go on this journey with me. What business that you just started doing business with, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a new hairstylist. I don't care if it's a new clothing place. I don't care what a new branding business, whatever that business was. How did you make a decision? Did you follow them on social media? Did you research them? And when you did your research, was the research based on what you saw and what you heard? Now, I'm going to tell you that according to data, right? According to the data, 90% of the consumers in the last few years, particularly in the last 10 years, but not even that. Let's talk about the last couple of years. And it's particularly since we're online. 90% of the consumers are saying that they decided that they were going to do business with various companies or a company based on, get this, testimonials. Now, not just any testimonials that had the picture of the person, the written word, but more importantly, testimonials that where you actually heard the person speaking. It validated the person and the business. Think about the last time you were going to research something. My husband, look, everything is with a review. What did the review say? What did the review say? And I will tell you, I'm on Amazon, everywhere else. I'm looking at the reviews before I buy the product. What the folks say. I want to know what everybody had to say about this particular product. And I'm going to tell you, admittedly, even when I hear it's the audio of it, it's like, okay, they're valid. Well, here's the deal. When you want, as a business owner, when you have a client and the client says, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I learned so much from Vanessa. Like we're on here right now. She's my client, and at the end of her client call, at the end of when you finish with your client for the day or the program or whatever it is, right? Whatever they purchased there is the coaching package. You say, okay, Vanessa. So you might say, Stephanie. So how are things going, whatever, and I may be raving to Vanessa. Vanessa, if she's on somewhere that is actually video like this, I would like to think that she had the record button hit and she had just me on there, because now that is a receipt, right? So that's number one. That's using your voice, because you have to ask for it. Every time someone says, I know when you're going to call, they say at the end of this call that we're going to have someone do a survey at the end when you're going to be on a call for anything. And if you have a great call and the person helps you out, they're like, do you mind on an interview at the end or a survey at the end? That's coins. So I need you to use your voice there. I think I shared with you, Vanessa, that I'm a speaker. I'm a speaker, coach, and author. All right, so speaker, who coaches, who's an author? How's it all rolled together? Well, I like to talk about books. If you're a speaker, or let's go back. If you're an author and you're not speaking, man, you leaving money on the table. Example. Most people say, well, what about schools? I can't get in. I can't do anything. I'm a teacher at a school. I'm an educator, and my schools don't have budgets for speakers. Most don't, but they have budgets for books. And if you're an author, then you tell them, you ask them, do you have a budget for books? Well, they'll say, why, yes, I do. Then you put you balance that book, the cost of the books, and make sure your fees included in that, and bam, right? That's one. Now, if you're a speaker and you got books and that they can't afford, whoever the program is, we can only pay a little bit of money or no money. Well, you speak, right? And when you get off the stage, meet you at the author's table. Now, let me just be clear. We're not doing no vending. We're not vendors. We're at the author's table.
No back of the room. Go to the back of the room. No, none of that.
We're going straight to the author's table. No, we're going straight to the author. And so because the expectation, they come to meet the author, they can be lined up at your table. But here's the deal. When you're speaking and you're on the stage, when you're speaking, because they have to learn why. When people buy out of emotions. They don't buy because your product is just fabulous. You have to tie them to it. I don't care if this cup, if I'm selling this cup, boy, I better sell this thing. I'm going to talk about how fabulous this cup is. It's a one-of-a-kind cup. See, this cup, it has whatever. You have to get into it. When you were in public speaking in college, how everybody had to talk about the pencil. I know for me anyway, they was for 2 minutes, once you talk about that pencil. And I was like, what? And I was like, okay. So this is a red pencil that happens to be a red pencil that has the centennial celebration for Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And it says 1913 to 2000. You just got to go in and in on it. But I'm telling you, on the stage, I use my voice, one, to get clients. Because while I'm on wherever I am, I'm going to tell them about what it is that I do. So if I'm on the stage and I'm there presenting, or I'm in a room and I'm presenting on one topic, I'm now showing them the expert, right? I'm now letting them see for themselves they're experiencing what I say that I do. And now I'm emotionally tied to them, because guess what you're going to tell them? Your why. They want to know why you're doing what you're doing. Have you ever, and Vanessa, I want to ask you this. Have you ever been in a restaurant and the waiter or waitress, for some points, whether you ask them a question, but you learn something about them.
Mm.
And once you learn something about their background, it emotionally tied to that person. And now you want to give them even more of a tip.
Oh, yeah. There was one chick where she's talking about Disney World with her and her kids. And I was like, I love Disney World. Right. And at the end, I was like, oh, I want to help her find a Disney World trip.
You see that right there? That's what I'm talking about. So if you, so when I, if I'm, when I'm on the stage, you're gonna know something about your audience because you should always know about your audience. So I was in an event and I could tell from my research and because you're gonna get there early and you're gonna meet and greet, and because they want to get to know you before you hit the stage and get to know what can be expected and so you greetings. When you get up there, you can say, you won't feel so jittery. You say, you know what? Yeah, and they know they're gonna get a y'all from me because I'm just this country. But I'm be like, y'all, I just got here to whatever area, but I met Vanessa. Vanessa Zamey. Y'all know Vanessa. Vanessa, where you at? But I'm gonna be waving, and Vanessa's gonna wave at me, and that's gonna give me some credibility because they know Vanessa. They just met me. And because Vanessa is she and I, we now good best friends, they can be like, all right. And then I'm going to tell them my story. I'm going to tell them a bit of my story, whatever it is. If it's a room full of people, if you're in a room full of moms or dads or parents, then talk about the fact you have children. If you're in the room with a bunch of folks that clearly they are going to college is important and that's their thing, or this is something in reference to it, then talk about your college experience. Talk about the fact that you went to college. Talk about where you went to college. You have got to bring them into the story. Ask them to shake their hands or to say something or look at the neighbor like you're in church, but you have to use your voice to connect them to you. Let me just say you three things. You, me, and everybody, we only purchase for two reasons. We're either what you offering is either fulfilling, making us feel fulfilled, feel good or happy, or it's relieving a pain. I don't care what the product or service is. Those are the only two reasons why people move forward and do business with you. What you have makes them feel better about themselves because it removes a pain or it fulfills a need and makes you feel good. Like it feels good. And if you look at marketing in any form, that's how it sounds. So how do you use your voice? If you're on a job, if you on your job and you want to get promoted, you if you let's say you want to lead a team, the team leader is always presenting or using their voice to make people feel more inspired. If you are not able to say, not be able to showcase or look you're showcasing yourself. If you're not able to sell yourself and your ability to lead those folks or to be able to, they know that they have this campaign that they can put you out front and you gonna wow the people, that you can give them the information like, oh, they can have aha at least once. They're going to go on to the other person that is willing to step forward and can put that presentation, can provide a presentation and can present in such a way that the people that are listening feel like they had something they took away from it and they energized them. Because energy it is contagious. Energy is contagious. So if you got a lot of energy, people can't help but be like, that doggone girl, I swear, I don't know what's something about her energy. But if you are not high energy, then I'm going to tell you that, and I'm sure Vanessa has told you all that when you are presenting to anyone or you're talking to them about anything, one, that have a quote, whatever it is, I have a lot of go-to quotes, but one thing that I absolutely love and I believe is true, and we've heard it said by many people, and I'm not sure who said it first, but I will tell you that nothing changes until we do. But I also know that change is inevitable because Bob Proctor says that change is inevitable, but that personal development is a choice. And so you make sure you tell them a quote and why it's relevant. But you also make sure that you always you make at least 1, 2, or 3 points. What is your point? And you absolutely got to get them to be bought into the story, bring them into the story. But some people require data. Make a data point. Tell them what, look, or back in the day, it used to be, tell them what you're going to tell them, and then tell them what you told them. Right? Remember that? But now it's simple. Les Brown says, listen, never speak unless you have a point, but always have a point when you're speaking. Right? And so oftentimes you may push yourself out of the circle of excellence because you're at a conference table full of your peers and you feeling like you don't belong because you're suffering from imposter syndrome. And so you know how they go around the table. Does anybody have anything to add? Does anybody have anything to add? And you really don't. And instead of saying I have nothing to add, I have nothing further to add to this, right? I have nothing. You tried to say something, but you're not prepared, and now you're really repeating what the first three people have just done, and you look crazy. So I'm telling you, you look crazy. So use your voice in everything. Whether it's a teacher, look, I say teacher, preacher, speaker, author, poet, educator. Vanessa is a professor. As a matter of fact, when I get off of here, I gotta go grade 25 papers because I'm a professor with our local university. See, but I'm telling you, we got too much alike now. We're too much alike. But it is, how did I land that position? It was the person didn't know me from Adam, but they heard about my ability. They knew what degree I had, but they heard about how I engage other people and how I inspire
Same
other
thing
people.
happened to me, girl. Same thing.
Bam! Y'all sitting there, y'all learn, y'all look, y'all learn. This is
Someone
it.
else was at another workshop I was doing. She worked at the university. She then connected. She had connected me with someone else at the university. I was like, I heard Vanessa speak. She's really engaging. I think she should be a professor at the School of Business. And then that's how it started.
And that right there, this is just key. I don't care. I don't care what business you have. Does anybody, Vanessa? I know you and I. We probably have talked about this, but how many of you know some former lawyer, doctor, preacher, or some other thing? They are no longer doing that in a brick and mortar or something, but they are now coaches and consultants. They are you. Ooh, it's a whole nother talk show. But I was going to say, I'm going to use the example of Bishop T.D. Jakes, who I love. But if you go back and just kind of look at, he has kind of dropped the bishop, and now he just says T.D. Jakes. That's a marketing. That's his brand. He's changing his brand because he's preparing for he's leaning more from being just a preacher to being more of a speaker, and he doesn't want to just be boxed in as Bishop T.D. Jakes. He wants to just be known as T.D. Jakes. Don't believe me? Look at the last three books. There's no bishop on that book. It's just T.D. Jakes. But he's a speaker. He's a heck of a speaker who happens to be a preacher. So I want you to think about, you can literally draw, you can get your pen out and you can say, okay, how can I use my voice to grow my business? Right now, I double dare you, it's like the kids said, to look on YouTube and look and see how many attorneys have YouTube pages. And that is how they are connecting to new clients, because people are not nobody watching, spending money on 3 million commercials. Anybody watching television? They're on Netflix, right? So those commercials are not going to be watched. And it costs too much money. I'm going to tell you. So I teach criminal justice and I teach ethics. And I'd like to show a lot of videos because learning styles are different. Nobody wants a bunch of reading. Put a video. So when I ask a question, I also have a video that I ask them to watch, a very brief video, maybe no more than a couple of minutes. And a lot of time, if I might, it's like, what is I want to know this particular thing about this with traffic, whatever. The doggone attorneys, because just like us, we do challenges and we do all kinds of things to bring people into to build up our client base. Well, they got built theirs too. They're doing the exact same thing. They're doing the exact same, man. They're using their voice. They're creating. There's a you can go on there right now and say, what can I put DWI? You're gonna get attorneys on YouTube training on Zoom on what to do if you get stopped by the police, what to do if you have a DWI, like little short clips. And with that, if you're an entrepreneur, and you should be, if you're a business owner, if you have a website or web page or social media site, If you are not making little clips or taking clips and little parts from your videos when you're training somewhere else and creating little short clips that are your receipts, because if you are a speaker and folks Google you, because when you are putting your speaker package, the first thing they're going to ask for is those receipts. They want to know, show me when you were somewhere speaking. They didn't see you speaking. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. Vanessa, would you go and allow someone to do your hair without seeing their work?
I would not. No.
Right. Would
Secrets.
you? Listen, and that's it. Listen, and many people would not. Would you allow someone to paint your house, any part of your house, without somebody or something letting you know that they're reputable? That's a no. So this is what I'm going to tell you. Your voice, if you are you have a book, you have a product, and I'm going to tell you, if you're a coach, consultant, speaker, author, you've got to speak out. And the chances are, if you are if you're a coach, you're talking all of the time. And oftentimes, coaches and consultants, there are people that say, I can't seem to get any clients. That's because they're afraid to ask for or even tell people what it is that they do. And oftentimes they don't know how to tell people what they do. They just say, I'm a consultant. But what, okay, well, how do you consult, right? Who do you consult? So I'm going to tell you, there are a couple of, just so you guys know, if you haven't already done it, I pray that you do it at some point. Don't get away from the old elevator speech. I will tell you, I want to say it's they call the verbal or the vocal. What is it? Quinn Conyers calls it the vocal business card. Lisa Nichols calls it your snap. Right? At the end of the day, it's the abbreviated elevator speech. Because I have my shirt on talking about my 1 million lives transformed. If I'm in the elevator and somebody says 1 million, they're going to ask, right? What is 1 million lives transformed? Right? I better be able to come up real. What does that mean? 1 million. I should be able to go in there and tell them real quickly that 1 million lives transformed. I am the founder of 1 million lives transformed, which is the number one women empowerment networking group. Boom, 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 boom. And then for women, right? And they'd be like, oh, and hopefully by my energy, me saying that, somebody might say, well, what is, right? And they'll ask more questions, but you should say something give them something to tell them about what it is. And then obviously I would have went into more details about what it was, but it would have been no more than 30 seconds to be intentional, because folks are going to go off, they over here, and all they want to know is, and all that you should be sharing with them is who you are, what you do, how you serve. And if you can't tell other people what it is that you do and how you serve and how you're changing lives, quite frankly, how you're transforming lives, then why would that person want to give you their money, their hard-earned money, to do business? I'm going to tell you that some of you, and I know it's true because I'm seeing it on social media, some of you are on social media pissed off because your family and friends are not doing business with you. So let's go ahead on and call it what it is. Y'all ready for this? Your family and friends cannot buy or enough of your products to sustain your business. And many of them will not do business with you. It's not because of you. Hopefully, most likely, it has a lot to do with the fact that the version of you that they know is the version of you before you were entrepreneur. And then until they see you like in their mind, whatever their version of success is, until they see you get there, they're not going to do business with you. They may do business with somebody that's doing exactly what you do. And you'd be like, And they may not even be as good as you at that thing, but it has everything to do with they don't know that version of you yet. And after you're super successful, they might be like all of a sudden they clamoring to do business with you. But guess what? You can't build you. They're your beta testers. That's where you start, but that's not where you finish. And how many of you know that you must absolutely have you must do business with strangers, because strangers, they just respect the craft. Is that true for you, Vanessa?
I would say yes. I would say I always tell people it's like, the friends and family may buy from you from like the first round. Like they may, depending on what it is. But even like when I was going into consulting entrepreneurs, in order for my friends and family to buy from me, they would have had to be entrepreneurs and or people thinking about doing a business, but then they weren't. So then it's like the expectation of that a couple years ago wouldn't make sense. Now I got people reaching out to me, messaging me like, so Vanessa, I need help, or I want to work with you in 2022, or et cetera, et cetera. But at the time, it was definitely like I had to rely on people I didn't know. And so I went off networking, all that jazz. And then pandemic happened. So then I went online, all that jazz. But it really is strangers, right? And it really is, but it goes back to even all the other stuff in terms of having reviews, having the proof points, and ensuring that you are continuing, no matter even if friends aren't and family aren't buying from you, still continue to show up, still continue to show out, still continue to share your message and share what you're doing. So, when that fateful day comes, when they may decide that you may have the product for them or you may have the service for them, right? Or they may one day meet somebody who does. And so as long as they continue to see that you are showing up and showing out, then they will show up and show out as well too. And we were coming up on time, but essentially y'all have heard amazing things from Stephanie, and she has a challenge happening this week where literally you get her for at least an hour every day this week. And so make sure you were checking that out. I put the link in the comments. It is not too late to join. They're only on like day 2. Okay. And you can watch probably the live again tomorrow. It's okay. So you're not too late. Catch up, watch the challenge, be on the challenge. And Stephanie, feel free to tell us more about that.
Yes. So listen, look, many of you, some of you, a lot of us, this is the deal. Most people, you already told you that most people are afraid of public speaking. That's the number one fear. Some of you right now are feeling like, I wish I could do more in my life. I would start a business, but I'm afraid to tell anybody. I would start speaking. I would be a speaker, but I'm afraid that someone's going to laugh at me. Whatever it is, the challenge, I promise you, I call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 days. 5 days. And who is it for? It's for those people that are tired of letting everybody else decide how much success they're going to have in their life. It's for the person that's ready to get out of their own way. It's for the person that's ready to use their voice to get more money in their pocket. It's for the person that's ready to elevate their business, because the one thing that's in their way is they're a lack of ability to communicate. So they're ready to use their voice. They're ready to get in power. They're ready to stop saying, They are ready to be presenting their first presentation in front of their peers and that supervisor that they've been trying to show that they had what it takes to move to the next level. They're coming to get it just by spending 5 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days to launch their voice, to find their voice. So come find yours.
Yeah. And transform their lives, right? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And so, so thank you, Stephanie, for joining us. And remember, check out her challenge. The link is in the comments. So sign up, get what you need to get so that you can ensure that you're getting the information that you need. Yes. And people might be, and actually, they might be wondering, but Vanessa, don't you also have businesses? I do also have businesses, but Stephanie and I are 2 different people. And so, like you are, Stephanie and I are 2 different people, right? And so, the thing about business that you have to learn, if you haven't already learned it, is that yes, there are many people in the same market, but we're each a specific person for someone out there, right? And so if you have an existing business and you're stuck, by all means reach out to me. If you don't even have an idea yet, if you're still trying to figure out what is your voice, you don't know what your voice is, and you're still looking to like turn that into a business, reach out to Stephanie. Okay. So ensure that you're getting the help and support. Either way though, get the help and support that you need so that you can ensure that you're moving forward in your best self and your best this life in general. And with that being said, thank you again, Stephanie, for joining us here this evening.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you. And I look forward to hearing more about the success of this challenge as well. And for everyone else, have a lovely evening and chat with you again next week, every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, live on LinkedIn and Facebook. Chat soon.